Zippity-doo-dah, zippity-yay. Ladies and gentlemen, it is hump day. It is Wednesday, and the chance for storms increases later on today, and then we're really into it tomorrow into Friday morning. Let's talk about who's going to begin some wind, some hail, and flooding in this Wednesday edition of the Texas Weather Roundup. And good morning to you. It is Wednesday, the 15th of May, 2024, just about halfway through May, and we're almost meteorological summer. That begins officially June 1st, along with the 2024 Atlantic hurricane season. It's hard to believe we're already almost there, but yes, that means we are indeed almost done with our spring severe weather season, at least in terms of the typical timing. Clearly, if last year is an indication, it can go on for quite a while, but sometimes we get lucky and switch into a summer-like pattern more quickly. That will not be the case as we go into next week. Let's just pop over. Let's start with the severe weather outlook for today and tonight. Storm Prediction Center has increased the probability of severe thunderstorms in their outlook across the Panhandle of Texas, now up to a level 3 out of 5. That just means we're expecting several severe thunderstorms this afternoon and this evening. That risk extends into western and northern Oklahoma. The potential for scattered supercells to develop, well, let me rephrase, scattered multi-cells to, at times, transient supercells this afternoon, early this evening, likely evolving into a cluster that will move into and across portions of western and northern Oklahoma. The threat for damaging straight-line winds, perhaps over 75 miles an hour at times, will be present with thunderstorms today, along with the potential for pocket change size hail, golf ball size hail, maybe up to the size of tennis balls if we see an organized supercell. The tornado threat today and tonight is very low. Now, let's just go ahead and quickly look at tomorrow's severe weather outlook. Well, that was taking me away, not the graphic. The Storm Prediction Center has expanded the probability of severe thunderstorms for Thursday afternoon into Thursday night and Friday morning, including the potential for scattered severe thunderstorms across the Permian Basin, parts of West Texas, the Concho Valley, the Big Country, Northwest Texas, North Texas, Central Texas, the Hill Country, into portions of East Texas, the Brazos Valley, and Southeast Texas. The potential for isolated strong to severe storms coastal bend up the coast into the Golden Triangle, all the way through the Arklatex, back up into the Panhandle of Texas, and towards the Guadalupe Mountains out in west/far west Texas. Now, tomorrow we could see supercells develop by early afternoon. The potential for the strongest of those supercells to produce very large hail up to or perhaps exceeding the size of a baseball. Yeah, we're doing that again. The potential for localized damaging straight line winds of 60 to maybe 75 miles an hour. The tornado threat tomorrow may be a bit higher in the Concho Valley and the Permian Basin. We're going to have what's called a triple point setup. An area of low pressure is going to set up over those areas. Why is this on? Interesting. Hold on a second. My apologies. Hi. I'm just going to leave that in there because why not? A triple point is going to establish itself. That's essentially where you have the area of low pressure and then a trailing dry line, cool front, and you also to the east have a warm front. All of that typically is to our north, when we're typically talking about dry line setups, dry line, firing off storms in the afternoon, those move east. Triple point, in this case, north of that warm front will be mostly, at least in the very lowest levels, more stable, while in proximity of that warm front in areas south, that is where we're going to have a more unstable surface air mass available for supercell thunderstorms. That was a very long and particularly inadequate way of me explaining. We may have a small corridor of higher tornado potential tomorrow, Thursday afternoon, in proximity of where that triple point and that warm front set up. And at this point, it looks like parts of the Permian Basin into the Concho Valley. That being said, the potential for a tornado may also extend further into parts of Central Texas, Southeast Texas, Brazos Valley. It's all just going to depend on how things set up. If it's like Monday, where we had storms mostly north of an outflow boundary, yeah, we're going to have hail, we're going to have wind, we're going to have heavy rain, but the tornado threat, meh. If we have a storm riding a warm front or south of warm front that becomes an established dominant supercell, tornado threat's going to exist with it. So we'll have to watch it carefully. But tornado threat, secondary, less likely compared to the potential for some damaging winds, some really big hail, and the potential for flooding. Yes, we are going to have a pretty substantial issue with flooding probably Thursday afternoon, Thursday night into Friday morning across portions of the state. We're going to talk more about that in a minute. Let's pop over to the Highrise Rapid Refresh model. This is for today, tonight, and the Thursday. Today you can see, scattered showers and storms get themselves going across the Panhandle, West Texas. This afternoon, maybe a little later than what we indicated yesterday, then you can see it tries to develop those storms into a cluster that goes and rampages parts of Oklahoma with wind, hail, rain, probably some flooding. As we get into tomorrow, you can see this model actually does develop thunderstorms a bit early in the morning, maybe 9 to 11 a.m. across parts of northwest Texas, the big country. If that happens, yes, those storms could have hail. Same thing goes for storms in North Texas. Sorry, my carpal tunnel's been acting up. I have a bowling injury, so that's why I'm wearing the compression glove. I know it just looks like the high end. No, it's not. Scattered storms maybe by late tomorrow morning into the early afternoon. Big country, northwest Texas, North Texas, perhaps. Maybe some hail, gusty winds, heavy rainfall, lightning. Then we see supercells get established in the late afternoon hours, the Permian Basin, the Concho Valley. There may be some threat for supercells in central Texas, the hill country, and southeast Texas by mid-afternoon tomorrow, too. That's one of those lower probability scenarios we're going to have to watch for, because if we do have storms further east, and again, this is 150, 200 miles east of the Permian Basin, Concho Valley storms. The storms in parts of the hill country, central Texas, southeast Texas, along and south of the warm front, if that's where they develop, we may have some risk for a few tornadoes. If they're north of the warm front, it's going to pour, it's going to hail, lightning galore, and heavy rain. Much lower tornado threat. This only goes out to, 5 p.m. tomorrow. I'll go ahead and just stop it and tell you verbally what we think will probably happen. Mother Nature, I'm sure, will completely make me look like a fool, but there's nothing new with that. You can see 5 p.m. tomorrow. Scattered to numerous showers and storms. Texoma, northwest Texas, central Texas, Arclet, Texas, East Texas, Brazos Valley. Heavy rainfall, probably some flooding with this. A lot of areas are saturated, soils are saturated. We have minor to major river flooding, especially across the eastern third of Texas. It will not take much rain to cause new flooding, street flooding, flooding in construction zones. Yeah, I'm looking at you, I-35. So, if this is right, it's going to be underway by rush hour Thursday afternoon. Texoma, North Texas, Northwest Texas, Central Texas, Brazos Valley, East Texas, Arclet. You can see we've got more sustained supercells across parts of the Permian Basin, Concho Valley. We've even got some storms with rain up in the Panhandle. They need the rain. That's okie dokie. Expectation is those storms in the Permian Basin, Concho Valley, probably going to move southeast tomorrow night, maybe as a small cluster, maybe as just individual supercells. Towards the hill country, south central Texas, the Brazos Valley, southeast Texas. If they're north of the boundary, north of the warm front, where surface temperatures, are in the 60s, there's still plenty of instability aloft. That comparatively cooler low-level air mass only goes a few thousand feet from the surface up. Above that, it's still plenty unstable, moisture galore. That's why you can have hailers up in parts of North Texas, even if it's 200 miles north of warm front. It's just what we call elevated thunderstorms because they reside in the elevated portion of the atmosphere instability-wise compared to surface-based storms, which have access to a warm, unstable air mass all the way down to the surface. Surface-based parcels, surface-based stormies. As we go into tomorrow night, it's going to be loud and proud across at least the eastern half of the state, and scattered numerous showers and thunderstorms capable of heavy rain. Some storms are going to be producing way too much lightning for their own good. Hail, some of the hail sizes, especially with those supercells, could be quite unpleasant. Localized damaging wind gust, at least a very low threat of a tornado or two. Heavy rain and flooding is going to be a big issue tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow night, into Friday morning. We'll talk about that again in just a minute. I've got a whole cute graphic for that. Those storms in the Permian Basin, they could make it down to Houston by Friday morning. So we're going to have plenty of storms tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow night, Friday morning. A lot of these storms may be capable of small hail. Some of these storms are going to be producing baseball-size hail. Damaging winds, maybe a few tornadoes, especially across portions of the southern Permian Basin, the Concho Valley, maybe through the hill country, south central Texas, southeast Texas. Maybe. We'll refine the timing of all this by tomorrow morning's Texas Weather Roundup. But the good news is the rain chances end Friday afternoon. It'll all move east of the state. We look dry. Friday night, Saturday, Sunday. It's going to be hot and humid, but mostly dry. All right, let's look at forecast rain totals. Again, this is going to be 7 a.m. today through 7 a.m. Saturday. This is from the Weather Prediction Center. This is more regional based versus, hyper local. Holy moly, there's going to be 5 inches of rain here, but by the time you get to the backyard next door, only 2.4 inches. Yeah, we're not that hyper focused here. We're looking at a regional basis. Forecast continues to show 1 to 3 inches of rainfall accumulation possible. Again, this is mostly tomorrow and into Friday morning. Now, for all intent and purposes, I'm just going to say this. Texoma, Northwest Texas, Eastern Big Country, Eastern Concho Valley, North Texas, Central Texas, the Brazos Valley, the Arklatex, East Texas, Southeast Texas. 1/2 to 1 inch, up to 3 inches of rain locally. Now across the Brazos Valley into East Texas, maybe Southeast Texas, the potential will exist for localized rain totals of 3 to 7 inches. That is not good, especially when you get into the piney woods, around Lufkin all the way to Louisiana border. Those are the areas that have generally been hit hardest with over 2 feet of rain over the last 3 weeks. Soils are saturated. Rivers remain in minor to major flood stage. All this water is mostly going to run off and cause new flooding very quickly. Even comparatively lighter rains may cause problems, and then heavy downpours, forget about it. Things are going to be flooding. So this could be a problem. This could be a big problem, and this could be an impactful problem in terms of flooding. We're going to have to be very mindful of that. I realize flooding isn't as sexy and attractive to, the holy moly guacamole scale is tornadoes, baseball-sized hail, hurricane-force winds. But guess what? Yeah, there's been a lot of rain. A lot of rain. Some of the rivers downstream of all this in southeast Texas, on the east sides of the Houston metro, they had their highest water levels since Harvey over the last few weeks. Some of them even were higher than Harvey. Now, not all of them, mind you, because Harvey in some spots dropped, 5 feet of rain. But that's not good. The rivers remain unhappy. A lot of the watersheds are having to carefully release water out of their watersheds to downstream watersheds, while also balancing the need to protect dam infrastructure, the floodplains, and, not cause crazy flooding, unnecessary flooding downstream. I will say this. Just as we get closer to hurricane season, this is not exactly the greatest position to be in terms of having a bunch of water in the tributaries and lakes, or especially the tributaries. If we have a early season tropical issue like in June, early June especially, we are going to have big problems trying to get that water out of here in southeast Texas and East Texas. Now, you can see parts of the Edwards Plateau, the Rio Grande Plains. Yeah, there may be some storms with a 1/4 to 1/2 inch of rain. At this point, forecasting 1/4 to maybe up to an inch locally of rain. Panhandle, West Texas, all the way down to western Big Country, eastern Permian Basin. Again, a lot of this will depend on where the storms track, all that. Dog, you picked a good time to want to leave. How delightful. The dog must be tired of my talking. I'm sure y'all are too. Good morning. So again, flooding, yes. Locally or heavy rainfall, yes. Mainly, the Panhandle, you're going to have storms tonight. West Texas tonight, more storms tomorrow, but most of the storms for the state of Texas tomorrow, Thursday night, first half of Friday, and then they go bye-bye, and we have a pretty warm, dry weekend. Fire weather danger over the next few days as I get done talking about flooding. Yes, the borderland, the Guadalupe Mountains, the Davis Mountains, the Trans-Pecos, down to the Big Bend, portions of the western Permian Basin, and the Edwards Plateau. Today, tomorrow, to a lesser extent Friday, the fire danger rating will remain high to very high. Are you better? Were you making all sorts of mischief? Yeah. Am I going to leave this in the video because it's hump day? Yeah. Am I going to let you howl? No, there's people sleeping. I'm talking to the dog. Don't mind me. Clearly, I should have gone to bed. Hey, look, it's temperatures. I really should fix that from yesterday's video, but I didn't yet, so oopsies. All right, here's today's high temperature forecast. It's going to be warm. It's going to be, mid-May. Welcome to early summer. Highs mostly 80s to 90s across the state. Probably a few triple digits in the Trans-Pecos. Pecos specifically. I've actually been told it is the Trans-Pecos. I'm very sorry. I keep saying Pecos. Pecos. Something like that. Maybe we'll have Jason set up a poll. Is it Pecos or Pecos? The Trans-Pecos? The Trans-Pecos. I'm really bad at pronouncing stuff, so don't mind me. I'm probably saying it wrong either way. Yeah, it's going to be warm today. So we'll go into Thursday. High temperatures across the northeastern half of the state will be cooler thanks to all the rain and cloud cover. Highs 70s to middle 80s. Very humid, though, so it's not going to feel particularly nice out. Outside of the rain, it's still going to be in the 90s. South Texas, Rio Grande Valley, Rio Grande Plains, 100 in Laredo, 100 in Del Rio and Eagle Pass, 90s, southern Permian Basin, western Concho Valley, the Big Bend, 86 in the borderland around El Paso. Friday, we'll clear out by the afternoon and evening hours, but still, 80s northeastern half of the state. Let's just say 90s southwestern half of the state. Some of y'all will be in the 80s, but I'm saying 90s because it makes my life more simple. 90 in El Paso on Friday, 101 in McAllen. Toasty. Saturday, the rain goes bye-bye, and summer hits. Upper 80s to middle 90s, northeastern half of Texas. Southwestern half of Texas, up into West Texas in the Panhandle and the borderland. Middle to upper 90s to 100s. It's going to be quite warm on Saturday, that's for sure. Eastern half of the state, you're like, oh, upper 80s, not bad. Yeah, but with all the soil moisture, the dew points are going to be well up in the 70s, and it is going to feel closer to 100. And let's not get into the mosquitoes yet. I don't want to talk about mosquitoes. That's not going to be good. But if it makes you feel better, if you're really that upset or sad about not being in the 90s on Saturday, well, you'll be in the 90s on Sunday, with the heat index approaching 105 across the eastern half of the state, including, Texoma, DFW, all the way down towards San Antonio, Corpus, all the way east. Merry Christmas. You get heat index values in the triple digits. Yeah, I'm going to find a pool. Looks like 96 on Sunday, San Antonio, 96 to 97, 93 in Austin, 92 at DFW, Houston, 93. That's going to be an ouchies with the humidity. 101 in Odessa, Midland, 104 Del Rio, 107 in Laredo, 101 in McAllen, 98 in El Paso. 102 in San Angelo, 97 in Abilene, 96 in Lubbock, 91 in Amarillo, 93 just northeast of Amarillo. That's going to be unpleasant up in Borger. So again, get ready because it's about to get hot. And again, these might go up a little over the next couple of days depending on how things set up. But hey, well, it is about to be late May in Texas. It was bound to get toasty sometime. Now, as we go into next week, again, Friday night, Saturday, Sunday looking pretty dry. Hopefully we'll be able to do that Monday too. It looks like we're probably going to switch back into an upper level storm system track that favors stormy chances in Texas next week, at least at times. This week, excluding, well, I guess I can't really say we've been super quiet this week. It's been less active in the tornado department at least, but and we've had a couple days here and there where we haven't had softballs flying out of the sky. Clearly, that may not be the case later today in the Panhandle, West Texas. And then tomorrow, tomorrow's going to be active. But Friday afternoon, Saturday, Sunday, all should be pretty tranquil, at least in the severe weather department. Next week, we're probably going to get back into a busier pattern, but the specifics, forget about it. We're not even going to dive into that yet, but you'll probably be seeing more of my bald noggin here on the magical realm of digital media. Speaking of which, this video is almost 20 minutes long, which means it's time to say bye-bye. As always, you can get your local weather forecast. Find out when the rain chances are highest where you live, whether it's in the state of Texas or up in Montana, maybe Alaska, live in New York. I'm sorry, but you can still get your local weather forecast just by searching for the free Texas Storm Chasers mobile app. You can download the Texas Storm Chasers mobile app wherever you download apps for your magical smartphone device. You search for Texas Storm Chasers. Those of you watching on the Texas Weather Center YouTube, well, thank you very much for doing that. Thanks for giving us that big old thumbs up button. That lets YouTube know, hey, we're not spam bots or AI-generated voice bots. We're actually useful content. Show us to more people. Creepy glove, I know. And of course, if you haven't hit that big super subscribe button, hey, you should. We do these Texas Weather Roundup videos daily during the weekdays, and the way Mama Nature's been doing it, we've been doing them most weekends now, too. We're going to be doing more soon. Are you ready for evening updates, too? They're coming. We'll see. It might be coming today. That's going to be it. As always, thank you very much for your support. Hope y'all make it a great Wednesday. We'll be keeping an eye on stormy chances. We'll have an update later this afternoon or this evening regarding tomorrow's severe weather, heavy rain, hydrometeorological issues. And then get ready for summer, because it is going to be a warm and at times very humid weekend. Y'all make it a good Wednesday. We'll chat with y'all later. Have a good one. God bless.